Greetings. This is Doc Ock coming at you live and direct from Black Facts Headquarters Central with another installment of Doc Ock at noon and 9. So you know what time it must be tonight, because you can tell we over here and we ready to go. We feeling all right and we ready to fight. Let's do it now because I'm feeling a little bit uptight. Let's see what I got for tonight. The proverb for today is, if you want to see your own sins, clean up a new ground. If you want to see your own sins, clean up a new ground. Okay. Yeah, some of these plantation proverbs be deep. They be some deep ones up in here, boy. They make you think. Okay. So clean up a new ground and you see your own sins. Now, the black fact for today is, here we go. Dr. George F. Grant created an artificial palate. Was this the device designed to fit in the human ear, the mouth, or the heart? Which one do you think it'd be? And I'll let you ruminate on that for a minute and come back and answer that. Now, we've got an unusual situation here. For the last 2 days, we have featured a woman, and we're going to feature the work of another woman today. As a matter of fact, someone who actually benefited from the work of the woman we read about previously, Miss Katherine Johnson, and she is alive. Okay. But before we get there, let me just do a little intro here. We spend a lot of time talking and thinking about the past, especially when we're talking about Black History Month, which kind of makes sense because it's Black History Month. But we can also talk about the future, and that's what we're here to do tonight. Now, one of the things that has concerned me for a long time have been the images that we see on TV about the future. And up until recently, we were seeing very few, if any, Black people in these projections about the future, like in terms of Star Trek, Star Wars, very few Black people, if any. Now we're seeing a few more. So these things are very important, these projections of images, because that's how we got here to where we're at right now. I read a book that was written in 1888 that talked about, the name of the book is called Looking Backwards from the year 2000 to the year 1888. So somebody wrote a book in the year 1888 and predicted what we would be doing in the year 2000. And one of the things they predicted was the credit card, the debit card, and how we would use it instead of money when we go to the store. They also predicted the advent of Amazon, where the goods that we purchased using that card would be sent directly to our home, that we wouldn't even have to carry it home. Check that out. So tonight, we're going to present something like that to you tonight. This one is a special book, and believe it or not, it's designed for ages from fourth grade to sixth grade. It looked younger to me, but it actually is. And we're going to look at it in a different kind of way than we usually do. We're going to use some of the techniques that I learned from Evelyn Woods when I took her speed reading course. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the back of this book. At the front. And we're going to look at the cover. And you see it showing the heavens here out there in front of you. And then you see that it's got, oh, hey, Solomon, how's it going? And then you see that it's got a girl, looks like a young girl with a telescope. Okay? Because, and that can open up a whole new world, just being able to look through a telescope. Not at what your neighbors are doing, but what our neighbors out there in space may be doing. Okay? So we look at the cover. This book is it's a true book. That's the first thing it says. A true book. And it's by astronaut Dr. Mae Jemison. The 100-Year Starship. our quest to explore new stars, Proxima Centauri, the closest star to our own, is, now this is a big number. I don't know if y'all can see that number, but that's a very large number. So we're going to count the digits there and see just what number is this. So we've got the hundreds, we've got the 100,000s, we've got the 100 millions, we've got the 100 billions. So that makes this number 24 trillion miles from Earth. And that is the closest star to Earth. Okay, the closest star to our own is more than 24 trillion miles away. Now we're going to do this speed reading technique. Says that we look at the front of the book, the cover, examine it, look at the photograph or the picture, whatever's on the cover artwork is, and the words, and then we turn it over and look at the back. And so on the back, again, it says, starts off with a true book. So we're looking at the absolute truth here. We're getting some truth here. And again, it's got the title, The 100-Year Starship. How close is the nearest star other than our sun that is known to have a planet? And the answer is about 4.4 light years, or 25.9 trillion miles. 41.6 trillion kilometers. I have to be careful how I said it because I wouldn't want to kill a meter. Okay. Inside, it says, inside this book, we'll find who is involved in the 100-Year Starship initiative. We'll find a timeline with photos and why space crews have to work against weightlessness. Surprising true facts that will shock and amaze you. Yes, you're going to get shocked tonight. And last but not least, all new, all true. All new, all true. And this happens to be published by Scholastic. You all know Scholastic. They're the ones that publish all those books that all the school children are forced to read in school. Well, we're not in school, but we're going to read this book anyway. And the main reason I got it is because it's by one of our featured individuals, Mae Jemison, who you're going to be hearing about later. Okay, so we'll look at the table of contents. Chapter 1, Giant Leaps in History. What is the 100-Year Starship Initiative? Chapter 2, Journey to the Stars. How do scientists measure interstellar space? How do you measure space? Because that's the vast unknown space. How do you measure that? Chapter number 3, Designing a Starship. How would you go about designing a starship? These are all questions that you should be thinking about as well before we ever get to the chapter, because we might not get to read the whole book. I think we will, but in case we don't, you should still be thinking about it. What type of vehicle will we need to travel to interstellar space? So during this month, when we're looking at various adventurers, I've divided up our adventures into various categories. Those who traveled by water, by land, by air, by rail, meaning trains, including wagon trains, and then last but not least, by rocket ships. And so this is talking about by a rocket ship. Obviously, you're not going to take a train into outer space, or at least I hope not. Chapter 4, Living in Interstellar Space. How will humans survive the trip? And then chapter 5, Here and Now. How will planning for a trip to the stars improve life on Earth? That's always a question people ask, especially when it comes to the money part. The big truth, powerful ideas. What types of energy could power a starship? Is that another chapter? I don't know if I think that's a chapter. Yeah, but there's no number for that. So I don't know why they stuck that in there. Members of the 100-Year Starship team come from a variety of fields. And you can see there's a little bitty tiny picture. You can hardly see any of them. But I did notice one of them had dreadlocks. So I believe it's a black woman. Could be a man, but I'm not sure. True statistics, resources, important words, index, and then it talks about the authors. So, you know what? It also says scientists have confirmed more than 700 planets outside our solar system. So, you know what? I'm going to go to the back. I like to read books from the back a lot of times. And so I'm going to start with information about the author. Okay? Information about the authors. Dr. Mae Jemison is leading the 100-year Starship, otherwise known as 100YSS. This is a new initiative to make human space travel to another star possible within the next 100 years. Dr. J, as they like to call her, is a medical doctor, an engineer, and an entrepreneur and or a business person. She was a NASA astronaut and flew aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour in 1992. She was the world's first black woman in space. Dr. J was a college professor, author, and started several businesses. She also works to get more students involved in science. She started an international space camp for students called The Earth We Share. Dr. J enjoys dancing, gardening, and art, and she lives, of all places, in Houston, Texas. And you know she's a cat lover too. Gotta have them cats. Okay, and then the other person I believe is maybe she's the illustrator. I didn't see her name. Co-authored by Dana Meechan Rao, the author of more than 300 books for children. A graduate of Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut, she has written fiction and nonfiction titles, including early readers and books on science, history, cooking, and many other topics that interest her. Dana lives with her family in Burlington, Connecticut. So now that we got that out the way, let's go ahead and do some reading. Yeah. Okay. And we're going to start off with giant leaps in history. So tonight we're not going to get to this, but we're coming along, and we're going to be talking about some of these vehicles that people have used to do their adventuring in. What kind of vehicles did they use? Did they ride on horses? Did they walk by foot? Did they go around the world in ships like the caravels that Columbus used to come to the Americas? How did they do or did they travel in a rocket ship? How did they do their traveling? Okay, so this picture you see here are of is an example of the ships that the Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan discovered the Strait of Magellan with, which is a shortcut between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. A shortcut between the Atlantic and Pacific. So, question for you to think about. Where would that shortcut be? Would it be the bottom of Africa? Would it be the bottom of Eurasia, past Australia? Or would it be at the bottom of South America? Think about it. Don't think about it. Giant leaps in history. Throughout history, people have set out on new adventures. Explorers traveled across continents. They settled lands and hunted, farmed, and traded to survive. Over time, people developed new ways to travel across the land, sea, and even the sky. Exploration, invention, and discovery have led to giant leaps in human history. They have taught us a lot about our world. They have helped us improve our lives. Magellan's crew was the first to sail all the way around the world. New technologies, tools, and machines have had giant leaps too. Long ago, people copied books by hand. Today, we can download and read books on small computers. Horses and steam once powered machines. Today, we use electricity. People once created legends to help explain objects and occurrences they didn't understand. Today, scientists use microscopes, telescopes, and other devices to try to solve mysteries surrounding the tiniest objects to the largest ones. See, I'm going to show you a picture of this one here. The Large Hadron Collider is the very big device designed to help scientists study the universe's smallest particles. And so here you see it. It's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like it's about 6 stories tall. So it's this round thing you see over here is the Hadron Collider. So you can see it takes up a whole building all by itself. And they're searching for the smallest, teeny, tiniest particles in the universe using a big old machine like that. Now, why they have to do that, I have no idea, no clue. But something else for you to research, check into, find out about, because that's how we learn. Okay? Now, we have come to the end of our time for the night, so we're going to have to close up our book. But before we go any further, we're going to see if we can answer this last question here, our Black Facts question for the day about Dr. George F. Grant, who created an artificial palate. Was this device designed to fit in the human ear, mouth, or heart? And if you answered the mouth, you'd be correct, because the palate is that top part of your mouth right up here. Okay, the top part of your mouth. And if you lose your teeth and you have to get a new set of choppers, they'll one piece that'll go up here would fit. It would be connected. It would go all the way across that palate. Okay, so they created an artificial palate, but he was doing it. Didn't say why he was creating an artificial palate. Maybe he was doing that. Maybe it had to do with the teeth. Maybe that's what he was dealing with. So I have to learn some more about George F. Grant. I'm not familiar with. And where is the oldest HBCU located? Is it Delaware, Pennsylvania, or New Jersey? The oldest historically Black college or university. Where is it located? Delaware, Pennsylvania, or New Jersey? Pick one or look it up. Your choice. See if you can come up with the right answer. Meanwhile, we are going to go ahead and sign off, but we will be black tomorrow night. And in the meanwhile, let's go ahead and have all you little children out there take your little take your little head and put it on your little pillow on your little bed. Close those eyes and wait for that sun to rise. You know what's going to come up in the new day, and you'll get another chance to do things all over again in an even better way than you did today. So keep that in mind, and you will find you will go very far in life. And maybe one day, not only will we go to Proxima Centauri, but maybe you will be a star that we know that you already are. Yeah, how about that? And that's a rhyme right off the top that I can do without a stop. As for you adults, you know what to do. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our live streams. Then you go, if you're seeing us on Facebook, go ahead and make sure to give us a like and give us a share, showing everybody that you really do care. And of course, we are looking for donations. We're still working on our donation page on our website. Go there and easily donate to our GoFundMe campaign. And we are in the midst of our 2020 campaign. 2020 campaign. So what that means is our goal this month is to bring in $20,000 by October 20th of the year 2020. So we call it our 2020 campaign. The funds go towards bringing you more live streams like this. The only site you can go to on the internet or anywhere else where you can get two, not just one. You can get two, one for adults and one for children, 2 live streams per day on Black history, not Black history facts, but Black history in general, because we bring you more than just some facts. We bring you some knowledge that you can't even get in college. Check that out. So tomorrow we'll be black here at noon. This is Doc Ock at noon and 9 signing off. Peace out, y'all.